No. I don't think so. I think we need conversation, consultation, more than anything else. Listening to them, that it's no longer a question of force, no longer a question of kinetic energy. I mean, kinetic means, but of course, non-kinetic. We are seeing a situation where mind is mattering more over matter. Where the psychology of the people are tuned towards self-determination, rightly or wrongly, and of course when you have to probably engage in some level of psychological oppression, and of course this is very legitimate in any kind of tangle, in any kind of contention anywhere around the world. It's even very, very civilized because you do not want to deploy too much of force in a situation where all the sides are armed, and of course where we're seeing so much of violence, violence that is leading to nowhere, violence that is obviously being perpetrated by people who are gradually becoming nihilists. And of course the two resource persons, the two elders, raised some very, very fundamental questions which have also had some respectable elder statesmen raised before, that, that things have happened in the past that is making them ask the question, are they really still part of this country? So what's wrong with us answering that question? What's wrong with our leaders or those at the helms of power answering that question? And the simple response is, yes, you're still part of Nigeria. Now, what do you want, to bring about, to bring about peace on all the sides? The measures are not too far-fetched. It just takes some courage, some political will. One, I think, first and foremost, even if it's going to be at the level of experimentation, get Nnamdi Kanu released. Get him released and see the extent to which this will go to pacify the restive youths, the violent youths, or the unknown government perpetrating this level of crime that is becoming very, very disturbing. Yes, we keep saying that it is the people that are affected, the economy is being affected, but the Nigerian entity is also being affected because there's a level of interconnection, cross-cutting interaction that happen amongst all the sides. We cannot deny the fact that we are also being affected. So we can get into this conversation, release him, and after that, then look at some more fundamental issues, some subgenerial issues that are deep-seated, question of exclusion, from national government. What's wrong with, forget about the voting pattern, the fact that they probably didn't vote for you, show some greater grace, include some more Igbo men in government, and of course, go beyond that as well, and think about the creation of more states in the place. By the time you give them some higher level of attention, it's just about having that courage. It's not like you think that you're succumbing to some level of, to some level of blackmail. I think it is statesmanship, it is statecraft. And of course, nations around the world have embarked on different levels of moves, to assuage, complaining sections in the interest of nation building. Remember, in the past, we've talked about dot in the circle, we've talked about Biafra. People are beginning to imagine, a better nation, in an emerging state of Biafra. Rightly or wrongly, though, but again, you have to take step, systematic step, to get them to think away from this direction. Because that's why I said it's a question of the mind now, not necessarily about matter.